You know, I was watching the Ramsey show, and there was, again, linkage will be somewhere on the content of this video for the sourcing, but getting to first world white people problems type of thing. No, and I joke about that, like it's just I'm Mexican, so that's how we say it, because it truly is. Like, we function differently in the economy than like Anglo-Americans do. But in the Ramsey show, they're talking about how, gentlemen, like, what should I do? Should I pay this off? Should I that? And like, what kind of car? Like, oh, I think I could pay off a car in 23 months. Okay, awesome, 23 months. But still, debt. Why would you want to get yourself into debt? Like the great young lady, was talking about how she drives herself a hoopty. And legit, drive yourself a hoopty. I'd rather, per se, instead of making my target goal a 10th month pay, like closing out the book in 10 months, I'd rather in 23 months or whatever, like, instead of over exerting myself economically, because money on your back really does suck. And just the weight of it all, just debt is weight, like, just like fat in your body. We gotta get rid of it, you know what I mean? Gotta get rid of that. So getting back to it, I'd rather buy myself, like she said, a car that's like way underneath my means, and then humble myself in that, because of course I'm gonna want a badass brand new car. Like, I mean, this used to be new, but but you take a front end dip and then they replace your bumper, but it never stays the same. It's just never the same. You can still see the crack on that mother. But no, but getting back to it, you should definitely, it's like we're on a totally different planet. That's what I love about Earth. Like, everywhere you go, it's like different planet. Like, this is our planet, I'm like at a water conservation place, just chilling, hearing the birds, talking my shit. But yeah, getting yourself into a car that's way underneath your means. Why? Because you're gonna use that car for the motivation, because you're gonna want to be in a much better car. And like the progression of cars too, and all that, blah 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 blah. Or even as a self booster, even better. But as a self booster, yeah, shit. If you want to get into a loan, then get into a loan, but get into a loan for like a $12,000 car. So at least like, as big dick energy, that, man, I can pay that bitch any motherfucking time. Your payments will be good, because you could afford it, and beyond that, it will be, credit worthiness, right? Your credit will build, especially on your payment side. Like, that's the most important part of your like score, right? Your financial score is your payment history. Of course, bad debt, you could always just pay it off. Go into print out your credit score, print it off, go through the 800 numbers, make no statements, because it is an attempt to collect it's an attempt to collect the debt. So anything that you say can be used, to further used to collect on the debt. But so don't give them any updated information or whatever. Just be like, hey, this is what I got. The information you got is what you got. Like, do you want to talk to me or not? And those are like the harassing like practices that credit agencies forget. And there's many ways to get like creditors to stop harassing you. You just gotta look them up. But yeah, so, even if you got it, don't mean you gotta spend it. I was just talking to someone about buyer's remorse for myself. Buyer's remorse for myself is the worst thing of everything. I'm not cheap, but that's why people think I'm bougie. Bougie as fuck is for the reason that when I do make a purchase, I make a purchase that I really wanted. And like, what they say, doesn't matter what you wear, you just gotta make it look good, period. And yeah, so it doesn't matter what you wear, you just gotta make it look good. And that's with confidence, and just don't get into what you don't know. Just don't take a bigger bite, and that's debt. If you don't know how debt works, then don't mess with it. A lot of people ask me like, how do you do it? How do you like? I mean, I've had comments in my life like, dude, seriously, like some of the forgotten things in the background to just tear a bitch down, like straight out. And I always surprise them, because that's the thing. I know I'm comfortable with that. Like, they're doing their job, and I'm glad, because it's my motherfucking motivation. It's my motivation. So that's balance, bro. Like, what am I gonna do without an ops? Like, that's why I guess in a certain sense I'm a little toxic. Because you would say like, so you just like to go pick a fight? Like, no, but I like to keep my eye open for broken stuff. Another toxic trait, right? You can fix something that's broken, but that's the beauty of it. I 100% understand that you can't fix something that's broken, so you just gotta learn when to walk away. When it's, and we all know that, like, when you're totally like depleted and it's like done, you're ready to start World War III, and I don't give a damn about my neighbor. I don't give a damn about you. I don't give a damn about your little dog too. Like, fuck everybody, and I get into certain states, but those are like the worst depressive states. That's like when you really have to like check yourself on your mental state. It's like when you start getting that type of attitude. Not so much when you're breaking down in the car and you're crying, like you're like, oh, shit, I started my man period. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, you just, I don't know, be good to yourself and know yourself. Because I like to fix things. At least I like to try, and that's all we can do is try. Because when you stop trying, it's like totally like, well, if you didn't even initiate the try, or even, that's the problem. That's when you truly fail. And you know what they say, watching the sunset, or, setting with the sun, it's really good for your, I forget what it's called, your Meridian clock or whatever, your internal tickings of like how your body sits on time. Yeah, so if you got the means to get yourself into like a payment situation, don't do it. Not for something that's per se above your means, because again, like, if you know, I was taught, if you ain't got the cash, you can't get it. Like, there ain't no money, like. But then I saw my parents, how they started credit, bro. Credit is the worst thing ever. We have to get away from debt. Like, not even as a nation or as a state or individual, you know, because apparently, you know, the social experiment hasn't worked in a certain sense. They're probably here to give y'all a show because they weren't here a while ago. Like, they're just. That's what you gotta do with your problems. Shit for the birds. You know? But, yeah, I mean, if you got savings in the bank enough to cushion you to, like, keep up with these payments, who cares? Just, like, I promise you, get into, like, a hoopty, humble yourself, and I promise you, like, that will be enough motivation, because it's gonna start breaking down on you, because it is a used car. But at least, you know, I mean, just think of it on the back end. Being humbled enough to take underneath your means, and I mean, because if you're looking for motivation, what, you know, just recycle your motivation, like your freaking endorphins that way. Get back into something that's like underneath your means, and like that, it's gonna motivate you, because it's like you're gonna be in this car, and we all know it. You're gonna be, because people that feel like that they gotta get into a new car over and over. I mean, that's my reduction to it. Is those are the people that look over at traffic and aren't minding their business per se, and seeing what somebody else got. It's not understanding that person is probably making like that car and all that, their economical situation look hella good and easy, but you really like John Malkovich, that person, and you're like, oh shit, like they're about to lose it all, you know. And then some do and some don't, but that's what I mean. Like, you're gonna build yourself the motivation to doing it all over again, because you're gonna feel less than, you know. That's what keeping up with the Joneses psychologically does to somebody. It's to make you feel less than, and to make you feel like you have less than, so to generate motivation. I get the social experiment with financing, and like how they try to manipulate, like through television programming and media programming, you know. Advertisement is propaganda at its finest, you know. That's why tons and tons of money goes into media, and tons of money is all mostly coming from whom? The marketers, right? The people putting the ads on the show. But that's the problem. Like, just because you have a national basis of like followers and viewers and whatever doesn't mean that you necessarily need to go. The marketer needs you more than you need them at the end of the day. They're coming to you because you have the following and the viewers, so why like fold yourself to them? Like, that's how public feedback gets back and humble these CEOs and these major corporations, doesn't let them run wild, is the source of media, especially national media, national voices. But we're gonna hit 15 minutes, so I don't know. I'm gonna collect my thoughts and see you on the next one, I guess.